Hi everyone, Lilian here from Card Crafts by Lily, and welcome to another tutorial today. Today's one is going to be on the little happy Easter bunny, and we're going to make this gorgeous little screen card. The happy Easter bunny I actually wasn't going to buy at all because it was specific to Easter, but when I seen this little chappy here, I thought it can be used for so many different things, not just for Easter. And I totally become obsessed with him. And another favourite stamp set of mine is Sheltering Tree. Now, that's the two main stamp sets I'll use today. I have used others, and the full details of which will be on my blog. The details of the blog are here. And here are a couple more little cards that I made using this little happy chappy. This one here actually is from a celebration stamp set, Nature's Perfection it's called. Celebration will be finishing on the 31st of March, so if I was you, I would check it out if you haven't already done so. This one here, Perfect Day. Basically this is using the same brayer technique as will be used on this. And this, while it's not brayer technique, is, and I will do a video on it, is a mirroring technique that I will show you again, and that way you've not just got the one bunny image. As you can see, the bunny himself just goes in that one direction, and if you mirror it you can get them in opposite directions. So let's get started on today's card anyway, the little screen card. Now, I'm just going to bring a little bit of the wild wasabi on a sponge and just sponge it onto the bottom of it a little bit, just to soften that up. Oops. Simple as that. And a little bit of Marina Mist just along the top of the sky. Just gently sponge it around the edge. Excuse that wee bit of green I got on there. You can soon hide that. There's very few projects I do that I don't make a mistake somewhere. But thankfully, generally, they're not too drastic. Okay, so that's that bit. Okay, I've changed to a clean sheet so that you can actually see the image properly. I'm sorry, the light quality isn't great today. It's a very, very dull and blustery day out there, and it's not making too good for the video, I'm afraid. Okay, I'm using the little bird image from the Moon Lake stamp set, and I only want the bottom piece of this, if you can see that, the foliage, and I'm rubbing the Memento ink pad just over that and going along the bottom of my main stamping sheet, my main image, and repeating it. Next thing we need to do is cut this main piece down into the little panels that will go onto the card. As I say, the dimensions and everything will be put onto my blog. All the instructions will be put onto the blog, so don't worry too much at this stage. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is stamp the tree image. Now, there we go. I'm using Crumb Cake for the tree base, because it's a relatively light neutral colour, because I like to add colour on top of it to give the tree some depth and dimension. So I'm going to do the first panel here, and the tree and the foliage should hide this horrible mark that I've put on it. So just about there, give it a couple of seconds. And I'm going to repeat that one for the last panel also. I'm more centering this one where the other one was sort of off to the side. Okay. The next thing I used was the Melon Mambo ink pad and my tree foliage. If you've seen my other sheltering tree videos, you'll recognise this. It's really, really badly stained. It's used an awful lot at class as well. People in my class will have been using it, so it has had a bit of abuse, but it doesn't affect how it performs, how it stamps. It's perfectly fine. First of all, I stamped off just slightly, not a lot, just stamped off lightly, and then place it down. That just gives a light coverage, as you can see. And then the next time I stamped fully, just turn it slightly so it's not stamping over what you've already done. That's maybe just a wee bit light. Let me do that again. I'll turn it again. Yeah, that's much better. And the same thing with this one. And turn it slightly, turn it that way, I think. Yes, I like that coverage. That's good. Okay, what I did next was I used my soft suede marker to sort of shade in the tree a wee bit, but I used it, I don't use the brush end, I use the pen end, because I just want to, I'm not colouring in so much as trying to scratch it, distress it a wee bit to give it a bit of texture, if you know what I mean. Not too much, you don't want to overwork it either, but something like that. The same on this. This one, yeah, the chocolate chip or the early espresso should do. The chocolate chip will be fine. And with it I scratched down just literally the left hand side of the tree, just to give it a bit of shading. And my white gel pen, let's just get it running here. I just scratch a little bit, quite fine, not too much, on the opposite side, on the right hand side. And to give the tree foliage a little bit more depth, I'm using the early espresso. Any of the dark neutral inks will do. And this little tiny foliage stamp from the Sheltering Tree stamp set. Stamp it off first just to see that it's not too dark. And I tend to focus this more to the middle of the tree foliage. And I use the little grassy stamp, I don't know if you can see that, and with, oh, where is it? My Mossy Meadow. I wasn't prepared with that one. And just roughly put some grass around the bottom of the tree to break up this line where you can see that it was stamped. So let's start with the brightest one first, and I'll do this as quick as I can. And I bring back the Mossy Meadow ink pad and the little sponge. These are sponges you get from Stampin' Up, the large round ones. I just cut them into quarters. They're so handy. And I kind of place rather than rub, dab rather than rub, the Mossy Meadow into the bottom of the image, just to sort of bring that all together to hide that spacing the stamps from the bottom of the stamp. There we go. That is basically the panels. Probably a couple of other wee bits and pieces. Let's see. I'll actually put a bit of highlight on them. Again, the white gel pen I found invaluable. A couple of splashes and splots through where I've put in the darker stamps, and some round to the right where it's to be more light. Some scratches just to bring up the eye back to the foliage. I could work at this a bit more, but I'm happy enough with that for now. There we go. This is the card base. As I say, it's 6 inches by 12 inches. I have scored it at, let me see, 7.6 centimetres, 15.2 centimetres, and 22.8 centimetres. Sorry for mixing up my metric with my imperial, but sometimes it just works that way for me. The other thing you want is your scallop edge punch, and just nip the edges off. And I use the decorative label punch for this. Now, this isn't as difficult as it might be. Let's do it this way. I'm going to work on this panel first, and I hope you can see this. Basically, the punch width is about the same width as your panel. I line it up. Now, what I am looking for, and I'll try and get this while I'm talking to you, is in here, just about the midpoint of the punch, come down just below it, because you want to create 2 little feet on the panels of your screen card, and that looks about, oops, I've just moved it. That looks about right. Punch that out, and as I said, that gives you the 2 little feet. So what you do now basically is turn it over. It's very hard to see with a black card, it really is. Turn it over and use your previous punched piece as the mask. Line it up. That doesn't look very well lined up to me. and so on and so forth. That'll leave you with the screen, your scalloped edge, and your little feet. And the next thing I want to do is create our two little bunnies. For this, I'm obviously going to use our Happy Easter Bunny stamp. This is the only part of this stamp, this image, that I want. And I'll use, actually this hasn't been cleaned properly since the last time. I'll use my imaging sheet from my Stamp-A-Ma-Jig. You'd obviously use a window sheet for the same thing. Perfect. This is the smooth side, not the rough side, obviously. And my Memento ink. So I need a piece of paper. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's quite clear. What I'll be wanting to do is cut that out. But the next one is slightly trickier. So here we go. Make sure I've got the smooth side up. Do the same thing again. Inking up just, well, the bunny image, that's the main piece that you want. Just very quickly, and try not to let this slip. Stamp onto my imaging sheet or clear sheet. There we go. I need to transfer that quickly before it dries. Turn it over onto this. Again, try not to let it slip or move. Once you have it down, it's down. Rub your finger over, and here it's fingers crossed. Lift it. Missed a wee bit here, but it's not too bad. That obviously is the mirror image of the bunny. What I need to do now is I will go around this edge with my basic black marker to define it a bit more, and I'll cut both out. So just bear with me. Okay, I've skipped a little bit ahead. I've defined the mirror image bunny with the basic black pen, and I've coloured it in with my markers. You can of course use blender pens, but that's not a technique I'm showing today. I will show you that again. I'm going to go on and finish colouring this little bunny in, and hopefully I can fast forward this and it'll not take too long, so bear with me. Okay, so I've jumped on ahead a little bit and I finished cutting out the two little bunnies. This is the mirror one that was done on the imaging sheet, and this is the original one. So the 4 panels are ready to complete basically, so I want to decide where to set my bunnies. This one I like him sort of close to the ground, and what he's going to be doing is he's going to be picking up the scent of the blossoms as they blow off the tree. And this little one is going to be jumping for joy as he catches the blossoms. So I want the blossoms to go in this sort of a pattern. Now, I just particularly like this little flower. It's from the Your Perfect Day stamp set. Again, as are all mine, it's slightly discoloured, but it's neither here nor there. I'm using the Melon Mambo because that's what it used in the cherry blossoms. And if you just bear with me, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, now As you can see, I've missed a couple of wee spots in those, but it's neither here nor there because I don't like the stamped image to be too uniform. So I'm going over it anyway with my Melon Mambo marker, and I kind of roughen it up slightly, make it so they're not all exactly the same. I use one of the dark browns. In this case I'm going to use it early Espresso, just to give it some depth. Just a quick flick on each of the little blossom petals. And finally, see if you can see that. The same again with, hopefully this isn't going to run out, the gel pen, just kind of beside where I've done the darker ones. And I don't know if it's just me, but that to me makes them pop out a little bit. There we go. And let's see how our bunnies look positioned there. Yes, he's enjoying the scent of that. And likewise, jumping for joy. Now, wee thing I'll explain actually, when I cut around these bunnies, to get the piece of white out between his arm and his jaw, his ear, I cut through his ear, as you can see there. But once that's set down in the panel, that can be glued back in and you'll never see it. It's grand. So what I'm going to do now is get the panels and start putting them all together. Okay, we're coming to the end. In true Blue Peter fashion, I'd basically assembled this earlier. If you're not from the UK, there's every possibility you won't have a clue what I'm talking about when I say Blue Peter. But I'll just finish this off to show you. This is the last panel put into place. As I say, on my blog I will have the full detail of measurements and card and what have you, and you can find out where to get hold of this gorgeous little fellow for yourself. Okay, that's the last matting. This is the last image panel going on. As you can probably see, I have some little butterflies cut from the Beautiful Wings Embosslits folder, and not only are they extremely pretty and dainty, they're covering up all my little mistakes, or where I put mucky fingers from this horrible glove. Okie dokie, that's the last panel in place. And just to put our last wee bunny, just give him a tickle with some of the multi-purpose liquid glue. Not too much, but if you're messy like me, Stampin' Up! Does sell an amazing adhesive remover. It's a little square block, and to be absolutely honest, I don't think I could manage without it. Okay, let's have this little fella jumping for joy. As I say, this earpiece will mend once I've got it all stuck down. Just put that together, and you'd never know that was cut. Excuse a slight rough edges there. My trimmer blades need replaced, and I'm waiting on new ones coming. I didn't realise I'd used all of them before. So that is the finished card. That is the finished little screen card. And isn't it just gorgeous? And the colours just beautiful. And this little bunny, I just can't leave him be. He He's appeared in so many of my cards. I will do another tutorial because I want to do another one in the mirror technique, but straight to card rather than one that you cut out, which is actually slightly easier. So I'll show you the more difficult technique, and I'll also show you the blender pens, but that's for another class. As I say, do check out my blog. There's more details on it. The blog details are there, and they will be at the end of this video. And leave me some feedback. I would love to hear from you. But that's it for now. I do hope you enjoyed it. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.